Everybody, it's great to be here one more time today. And my name is Gary Fowler, and I'm the CEO, president, and founder of GSD Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart, yes, the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under my belt. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion. Yes, billion with a B, and also Eva.ai. And I've just brought an incredible guest online, Deepak. Hi, Deepak. How you doing today?
Doing terrific. Hello, Gary. How are you doing today? Thank you.
So Deepak is has a wide background. He's really focused on the online talent market, but he's got a background dealing with some of the most prestigious companies in the world, and he went to Northwestern for his MBA. So, tell me about the journey. So you've been involved in technology a long time. You worked with Tata, you worked with General Electric, Accenture, Oracle. It's like a who's who. So how in the world, with your entrepreneurial aspirations, how in the world did you go down through and take the black belt challenge from General Electric, and of course the toughness of Larry Ellison at Oracle, and then the politics and the political situation at Accenture, and Tata? How did you come up with Remote Symphony?
Yeah, that's a great question, Gary. As you can tell, I'm an immigrant born and raised in India, have been in the United States longer than I have lived in India now. So as an immigrant, I came to this country largely because of the talent that I had to offer. And I always knew that I was somewhat special in terms of the list of companies that you mentioned I had an opportunity to work with. And why I was special is because I had talent. While being in India, I may not have worked with the best of the companies, but having come to United States, I got all these opportunities, and I always wanted to reward my country back, if you will, in terms of bringing a lot of high-paying job, high-powered job that I was myself lucky to have experienced while being in the US. And that gave me the idea of Remote Symphony. All these global organizations taught me that white-collar professionals are in need, are in demand in United States. US, for some reason, has a talent shortfall where it is insatiable in terms of how much talent it can consume, but it doesn't get all the talent locally in United States. And here I am coming from India, realizing that there are a lot of people in India and likewise in the rest of the world who can be plugged into online, real-time, on demand to work on the US insatiable need for talent. And that was the epiphany that helped me found the company after having been a corporate executive for some time, Gary.
Now, how was that? You're working at General Electric. How does that really, how did you get into entrepreneurship? Because in General Electric, I mean, it's not entrepreneurial, right, in a traditional sense. But how was it? How was that journey going from being this big corporate executive and wearing the nice college shirts and sitting in the meetings to have meetings? How is it gone from that to being a entrepreneurial executive?
On a lighter note, I almost got myself thrown out of the home because my wife said it's either corporate America or me, meaning her. So it was not an easy transition because in
Wait a
corporate...
minute. She said it's either corporate America or her. And what happens if you would have chosen corporate America? What happens? Nothing good, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. So the ultimatum was don't do this shitty thing called entrepreneurship. Go the safe and tested route, which is be in corporate America.
Ah, so she wanted you to be in corporate America.
Yes.
And so what happened when you said that day, listen, honey, I've changed my mind. I'm now going to be an entrepreneur.
Yes, I barely survived her wrath, but she decided to hold on to me, and I think she is happy to date that she kept me on as her bride. And it was a tumultuous journey. In all reality, it was not easy giving up big salary, cushy job, and trying to make ends meet as an entrepreneur. But living in Silicon Valley, that was something that I had always known I would be an entrepreneur. I just didn't have enough skills under my belt. And working for General Electric, for example, gave me a lot of unique skills in terms of process, in terms of methodologies, in terms of a method to madness when it comes to
Oh, I
taking.
like that. The method to your madness, General Electric. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was then. And then when I moved into Larry Ellison's backyard, I did teach me some significant entrepreneurial skills. And then finally, the Accenture was, as you rightly said, a very political minefield where one has to be careful in terms of how one maneuvers the career moves. And finally, it all came together. I thought I had the necessary skills. All I needed was to take a plunge in entrepreneurship, and it has all worked out thus far, thankfully.
So I got a question for you. How was it working for Larry Ellison? Did you meet him?
Yes, I did meet him. He is brash, as is always known. He appears to be somewhat moody, but very smart, very sharp in terms of what he does.
And he doesn't look his age, does he?
No, he doesn't. And he's definitely funding a lot of good science related to anti aging.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, yeah. He must be 70 some years old, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, he doesn't look anything like that. That's incredible. So you go down through, you survive. Like, how was it working? So when you go into consulting companies like Accenture, how was it working for them? What kind of politics are in there compared to the startup? What was it like? Did you have to be careful all the time, and did you have to know who to talk to and who's politically powerful at that time or not?
Absolutely. It was all about who's who in the zoo. Uh, you
Wait,
couldn't.
zoo? Deepak the zoo, yeah.
Uh, it's a landmine, for lack of better word, working for a big company. I don't want to explicitly call out Accenture, but what Accenture was exhibiting was typical of big staid culture where you cannot be a bull in a China store, for lack of better word. Whereas entrepreneurism and entrepreneurial organizations would exactly reward that kind of a fast-paced, action-oriented decision making, where you always have to beat the competition, and you have to be paranoid in terms of surviving yet another day in the
Really? Tell
in the
me
wild.
about that. What do you mean by that? What's that like?
No, no, actually, that was more for entrepreneurial and startup companies where you have to be paranoid about succeeding another day and staying in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Accenture was totally different. You have to be very differential to the seniors, to where somebody falls in the org hierarchy. You have to know your boundaries very well in terms of always speaking to the right people when your turn comes and stuff like that.
Wait a minute. So you gotta know who's powerful that day and who's not, huh?
Yes, yes.
Now, how powerful are partners in companies like that?
Powerful enough to get you fired.
Well, that's enough, right? So you got to know who to talk to, and how does somebody become a partner, Deepak? So what's it like when you were in there? So how do you get to be a partner? Do you have to buy into the partnership, or what happens?
Do a lot of good work, good hard work, but suck up a lot also at the same time. So it's a meritocracy is in play, but you have to know whom to kiss up to, for lack of better word.
You got to know who to kiss up to and do a lot of kissing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. And so, and how fast, let's say, I'm just curious about this. So, compared to a startup, so let's say you do something wrong. How does the system work? Does people start coming against you over time, or how does it work? How do the politics work in an organization like that?
So it's a well orchestrated machine where if you make mistakes, you can count to be there or out of there within 30 to 60 days. Because by definition, the decision to get you out gets made almost instantaneously. But the processes
Really?
and the hierarchies that they have to be followed takes time.
Wow. So if you do something wrong, they make the decision right away, but they're not going to get rid of you right away. Yeah.
Yes, because of the impression that it is a fair move on people's part to get you fired, and they will go through the right channel, the right procedure.
So
If
they're
you,
they're politically making sure it's set up, but they already made the decision.
yes.
Well, that's amazing. And how was that? Did you like that? Is like, did you have to suck up every day? Is that what it's like? You have to like, oh, nice to see you today. Let's have lunch. And did you have to do all that?
No, I was not cut out for that. I must be honest. I'm more of a straight shooter. I'm more of a guy who gets the work done, to get the shit done, and
Hmm.
sort of not much nonsense. So it wasn't a place cut out for me. I have lots of very good friends who have become very successful, have done very well in those organizations. It was just not my cup of tea.
I understand. Wow, that's interesting. And so, how was it like working for General Electric? How do you contrast General Electric from Accenture from Oracle? What was the corporate culture like there?
So General Electric was also a very top-down culture, but they had the flexibility for you to try and experiment within the system, uh, which was not there in some of the other companies like Accenture. Oracle also had its entrepreneurial streak where one could be independent, and as long as you were meritocracy, as long as you were producing results, you could bend some rules in your favor. GE would not let you bend rules, but GE would allow you to be an incubator of ideas, would allow you to experiment new things. Just make sure that the KPIs and the metrics were still looking good.
Wow, that's amazing. So Larry Ellison lets you be a little bit more flexible, huh? As long as the results are there.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, that's incredible. And so as you went, and then you worked for Tata. How was that?
Tata was more like a university culture. It was just an extension of the school, like a college, if you will,
Hmm.
uh, where they are immersing you in a lot of different technologies. They're really getting you prepared to be subcontracted to a bigger player in the world, whether it is General Electric, whether it is General Motors, whether it is who's who in the tech Fortune 500. So it was a continuation of the immersive education that one goes through in school system, and then your future would be carved out in a certain project where you would be uh, playing a staff augmentation role versus you will be a fully managed project team member or you will be a member of outsourced team. So they had certain engagement models in which you will be consumed moving forward because you were more of a widget who could be monetized, for lack of better word, because it was a factory system. And by factory system I mean, think of a services line which is more factory oriented, where you are just another cog in the wheel.
Well, how was that though? Because the cogs in the wheel get let go first, right? If there's a downturn, they get rid of the cogs. So how was it? Did you feel like you were part of a company when you were in a company working? Did you feel like you were part of the culture, or did you feel like you were on the outside looking in? How did it feel?
I would say that till date, I'm very proud of Tata as a brand, as a culture. They took good care of their employees. The pay scale was definitely on the lower side of the spectrum as compared to some of their competitors, but they gave you a lot of good education. They gave you a lot of good projects to work on. And till date, I find that the company has remained true to that culture, where they attract the talent who's not in a hurry to become rich overnight. They attract the talent who's there for the long haul, who wants to make a difference in their projects and in their career, in their community. So that's the Tata way of doing things. And they have been very instrumental in helping India uh, progress in terms of the industrial revolution of India, if you will, in terms of one of the earlier companies, which is a conglomerate. They are into anything from steel mills to software to tea business to commodities and stuff like that. And they've really done a.
That's amazing. How big is Tata? I wonder what the revenue is today.
I wouldn't remember that, but or I wouldn't know that. I apologize, but they have done things to India as has companies like General Electric or General Motors contributed to United States.
Oh, incredible. Okay, let's go down through. Let's talk about where we are with Remote Symphony, and the we call it a home run marketplace solution for this incredible global labor shortage. Although the global labor shortage seems to be changing a little bit, right, with all the talent. But how did you come up with that idea? Was it because of working with Tata, or was it because of working with these U.S. technology companies? How did you come up with the idea, and what made you really focus on white collar professionals?
Sure. So, for the benefit of our viewers, if I may quickly explain what Remote Symphony is and then give you some genesis. So, uh, what Remote Symphony is it is an online talent marketplace where one can hire white gloves treatment uh, related professionals. So, professionals who are more white collared, professionals who are working in top of the pyramid, if you will, like IT, finance, accounting. Um, so that's what Remote Symphony does. It's a two-sided marketplace. On one side, you have employers and people looking for talent. On the other side, you have companies willing to rent out their talent, companies willing to subcontract their talent. Uh, it's not like an individual's play, meaning there are no gig workers, there are no freelancers. Everyone
Well, it's
who's,
not like Upwork.
yes, not like an Upwork. You have to be part of a established organization to render your services to other companies. Uh, and these people are typically uh, well educated in terms of having an undergrad degree, maybe a master's degree, an MBA, and those kinds. So these are white collar professionals, truly high end professionals. The genesis is something like the genesis for the foundation of the company was something like I've been in this country for 20 years. All of my adult life has been spent in United States. If you throw me back in India, I would be a failure. I would not know how to earn my livelihood.
Hmm.
So while being in United States, what I have seen is I came 20 years ago as a talent working for General Electric. Till date, I still find that situation has not improved. US has a need for lots and lots of talent than it can produce locally. But immigration is not always keeping up. Maybe anytime in the United States, there are 6 to 7 million open jobs that do not get filled. Why? Because the local economy doesn't have enough talent. And you cannot be bringing wholesale immigrants in this country. There would be other political uproars. So, how do you solve this challenge where the GDP could be maybe 5, 7 trillions more if only you were able to fulfill all those open roles? And that's where it struck to me, having grown in India and having gone through my own journey to this country, is why don't we plug resources real time, online, on demand? There is no immigration involved. People can be living wherever they are in the world, enjoying their family, enjoying their uh, relatives, their home, while still working for a global organization, because work from home is a real possibility now.
Hmm.
People don't have to travel to where the work is. The work will come to their home and they can plug in and be working. So that was the genesis, Gary, in terms of what led me to found Remote Symphony.
Well, that sounds like it's right on target with COVID, right? Because people weren't going to the office and they're working at home, and I think people are more comfortable with it. You get a chance to spend. I know in California, the commute from where we are up to Palo Alto can take an hour and a half. It depends on traffic, or it could be 20 minutes.
And
So
why do that? Why
yeah,
do that?
that's the other thing. Why waste the time and money, right? So I think where you're right on target with it. Now tell me, how do you different? Let's talk. So we know Upwork, but how do you different from some of these offshore development companies? Because you're basically doing a offshore kind of model, an outsourcing model. But how do you differentiate and why are you that much better?
Sure, couple of dimensions why we are better and different. First is we are truly a marketplace, meaning we are creating an ecosystem where any company from the world which is in need of high-end talent can come and look for talent, can source talent, can rent out talent. So that's the model where there are no freelancers, no independent workers, but companies who own full-time employees are renting out their talent. That model is not truly there. There are services company, there are uh, companies who do this for a living, but purely in a services model. Ours is a platform play, ours is a product play, meaning you as Gary representing GSD has a need for, let's say, an accountant or an investment banker. You could come on my platform and tell us your wish list in terms of who you are looking for. And my platform within seconds would come and give you the talent that you're looking for. It has the ability to source talent real time. It would crawl the web, it would crawl various websites and able to shortlist a talent which meets your criteria and be able to serve up one of those talent or a couple of those talent depending on certain criterias, and you would be
So you
assured.
use an AI to find the person.
Yes, it's like literally boiling the ocean looking for that needle in the haystack.
Yeah, boil in the ocean to cook your fish.
Yes.
And so when you're going down through it, how does the AI know that this is a person that's a good fit for your company? And then secondly, because you have no contact, you haven't worked with them. Secondly, how do you get those people interested in working for you and the company?
So that's where we already have in our database about 10,000 resumes, which is a drop in the bucket given the workforce that we have, which is willing to come on this platform. We are speaking to a lot of employers who will like to bring their talent on this platform. But the AI is intelligent enough because on the demand side, it knows what the employer is looking for. Because you, as an employer, have given certain criterias, like I need an investment banker who's 3 to 5 years work experience, is mid-career, is interested in X dollars per year, uh, has maybe some pedigree that you want to specify, and
Mhm.
our AI will, on the demand side, look for that and then go
So
do
tell
the
me a little
matching.
bit, Deepak, like what pedigree you're looking for. Give us an example so the audience knows what exactly how incredible this is. Tell us a little
So,
bit about it.
so for example, you could tell I need somebody who has spent 3 years in Deutsche Bank, or 5 years in Goldman Sachs, or 3 years in Morgan Stanley. You have your pick of where you want the X job, X career to have been, or you want somebody who went to do masters in Princeton, like Jeff Bezos, or somebody who has done, let's say, work in Stanford, has gotten masters in Stanford. So those kinds of markers, if you will, if you have a bias for a certain Ivy League school, or if you have a bias for somebody who grew up in Midwest, there are some 40, 60 different criterias that you can specify. And
Wow.
we will go and find that talent, because on the supply side, which is on the talent side, we have collected similar data in terms of where they went to school, what kind of degree they have, what kind of work experience they have, what kind of unique skills do they have.
Well, why do you ask for a school? Why is that important? I'm just trying to figure it out. So if they say I've gone to Notre Dame or I've gone to Penn State University, why does it matter?
Sometimes you could be looking for diversity, meaning you have everyone, but nobody being represented, like Brown. I'm just throwing a name. So you want to diversify. You want to have DEI criterias for which you want a certain race to be represented. So we would collect that race information.
Mm.
So it is
Can you
it
do
is
that though, Deepak? Can you actually search on race? I mean, is that something you can do?
Yes.
Wow,
We,
amazing. And yeah, it's funny. You don't hear much about Brown, although I took a summer program there one time.
yeah.
Nice place in the summer, by the way. So you've done that. Now, how does what is the benefit for the employer? Because you're bringing these folks, but are they interesting in terms of that customer, interesting because of their backgrounds, interesting because of the connections. Where are they interesting? So are they deeply technical or deeply business oriented? What are they?
Uh, More or less all of these carry. What the employer cares about is getting their work done, which is presently not being done. There are, as I was saying, just in finance, IT, and accounting, those three verticals we are starting as the initial foray where we do the staffing and the sourcing of talent. So it amounts to some 5 to 7 trillion annual GDP loss in America. If America was to be employing all those open headcount that it is unable to, the GDP would be propelled by 5 to 7 trillion just in these three fields of IT, finance, and
Well, I
accounting.
think we need to get
So,
those people working.
sorry.
I think they need to be working then if we can propel an economy based on work, right? Why aren't they
Yes,
working?
yes,
Why
absolutely.
is it like that? Why do people not work? Is it because they're millennials or they're Gen Z or Gen X or what is it? What's the reason?
Here it is purely the supply dwarfs the demand. Sorry, the demand, the ask for talent is more than what the talent is being produced.
Is it
So
still like that with all the layoffs taking place?
now the situation is somewhat different. Yes, the pendulum has swung on the other side of the extremity. But if the economy was humming as it was, let's say, a year or two ago, it would be needing more helping hand in IT, finance, accounting, and the other white collar jobs. At which point, the employer is saddled with job not being done, projects not being executed, revenues being missed, customers being unhappy, and the likes and the likes. So their best next course of action is take the demand that is out there in a country like India or in other places in the world, in Africa, in Latin America, and plug them to the U.S. economy
Well, I
because
mean, the
U.S.
thing
has.
is, you're basically being like an agent for them, right? You're talking about their skill sets and what they do. You're like a sports agent, except you're looking for incredible talent all over the world.
Yes.
So how's this
The,
going to grow, Deepak? How are you going to go from where you are now to get to take more of the U.S. market and then the global market? What are you going to do?
So we need to raise fund. We are at a point where we have a working MVP, and we are looking to raise about 8 million in our Series A. Thus far, we are all bootstrapped. We have not taken a single penny of outside money. We have been in business for 3 years. We have grown to 2.5 million annual recurring revenue,
Mm-hmm.
and we anticipate to do 2023 revenues of 5 million. So we are raising 8 million uh, with a valuation that we can all discuss at another time. But to answer your question, we need to raise money just for hiring enough salespeople as well as building out our platform. And once we have that, we are able to aggregate the demand because more and more companies are realizing that coming to a platform and getting talent is better than having HR departments of their own looking for talent.
I don't know about
Similarly,
you. Sometimes it's hard to deal with the HR folks. You would think they'd be easy to deal with, right?
yes, yes, totally agree.
But they got a
Um,
lot of forms to fill out all the times. They're busy.
yeah, and similarly on the talent side, talent also doesn't want to deal with HR because they are more like think being looked upon as a gatekeeper. So the talent also loves working with us. The companies love working with us because for them, if a company has to sell their talent to another company, they have a choice of either maintaining a costly sales team or bringing their talent just on this platform where the talent gets discovered and automatically sourced by employers. So it works both ways. I get easy talent to the employers and I get easy jobs to the talent.
Got it. So, how big's your team, Deepak?
Right now, we are 65 people in all, out of which about 10 work on the company, and the rest 55 are our talent, which is working for various global organizations.
Oh, well, that's great. Well, listen, we're coming up to the top of the show. So, You've got an incredible company. Remote Symphony is really kicking butt. You got revenue for all the audience out there. He's got revenue. His company's growing. He's in a very interesting, more than a niche, but an up and coming market that's going to change everything. So, closing thoughts, Deepak, and how do people get a hold of you?
So work from home or remote and distributed team is the future. Everybody is relying on that, and talent shortage is a scarcity. It's a pervasive problem. Many of the developing worlds do not have the white collar professionals that they need. The best way to get a hold of me is my phone, 669 400 6038. That's a US number. Or if you go to remotesymphony.com, you will find my details there also. You can get in touch. Otherwise, if you can just get hold of Gary, Gary can get you in touch with me.
Absolutely. Deepak, you're doing an incredible job. And to all my audience out there, thank you for joining one more time. GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. And my name's Gary Fowler, and I'm your host. Stay tuned for another exciting edition coming next Tuesday. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. I will see you soon. Deepak, you're doing an incredible job. So check out Remote Symphony. Check out their website. Check out Deepak. Get a hold of them on LinkedIn. And let's all go get shit done. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.